Hey guys. So today I am going to be making my summer solstice loose incense blend. And I figured that I would take you guys along for it because I haven't quite done anything like this before. I did do this with making my psychic oil last year, but it was last year. So, um, first we are going to start by selecting our herbs. And then we're going to grind them all up in the mortar and pestle, and we'll kind of talk about what we're going to do with lighting it and what and storing it. So, funny little thing, I have been a witch for 20 years now, and I just bought my first mortar and pestle. I know, silly, but finally did it. Very happy with my purchase. So I figured let's take it for a swing. So, um, I honestly kind of did this a little intuitively. I really sort of just picked the herbs that I had on hand that I felt would work for summer solstice. So you're not going to hear me really talk about the correspondence with them so much. Um, you're more going to just see me sort of wing it. I'll tell you what I have and why I felt it should be included, but it's not going to be really on the nose for the correspondence just because I'm trying to really just work with what I have versus buying more herbs and all that. So the first thing we're going to put in is some jasmine. I really kind of kept with a floral um, scent here and kind of wanted to add that. Although jasmine quite honestly makes me think of Ostara more than anything else. I tend to use it more around that time of the year. I felt that it was perfect. And then the next thing we're going to be putting in is some rose. I use a lot of rose in my practice. I tend to use it as offerings for Freya. So I felt rose was really perfect for summer solstice. I also tend to use rose um for Beltana. The next is calendula. I use calendula a lot in my practice, specifically for working with the dead and honoring the dead, and honoring ancestors. But since calendula has that fiery energy to it, I felt it was perfect for summer solstice. Next, I'm going to be adding some mugwort. Mugwort is really great for psychic abilities. It's really great for adding in, tapping in to the altered state of consciousness. So I felt it would be really good to burn on summer solstice when communing with deity. And then next is lavender. I have copious amounts of lavender right now. um, this is like the most stockpiled herb. So I really wanted to put that in there, but also lavender just has that very sweet, calming floral scent. It's just really wonderful. So I really am connected to that scent. So then you want to take your mortar and pestle and just kind of grind it. And while you're doing this, you can kind of think about maybe the intent that you'd like to put into this herb. You'd like to send out while you're burning it. If you are making an herb for a specific deity or a specific intent, you can think about. For me, this is sort of going to just be an incense tapping into the summer solstice and honoring the fire that we experience during this time. Well, since I've used a mortar and pestle, guys. I think the last time I did it, I was making peppermint bark when I was like 17. What sort of witch am I? To be honest, I'm more of a divination witch than an herbal witch. But lately, I have really been pulled to working with more herbs. I've just been really wanting to work with the herbs that I have on hand first before I really dive into any others. I can mostly smell the lavender, but it definitely has a very like sweet scent to switch hands because as most of you know, if you've been watching my channel since last October, I fell and broke my right wrist. So my right wrist and my back are actually still healing from that injury, and so sometimes the right wrist tends to hurt a lot quicker, which is not fun because I'm right hand dominant. And that was a really, really long 6 weeks. So I'm not going to completely grind this up to the way that I want it right now because I think it would take forever and you just have to listen to me ramble. But basically, you kind of want it to get a little more fine than this. I've got some leaves in here that are a little bigger than I would prefer. I kind of want it to be a little more fine. But I had intended on just placing it in this little dish while I was using it during ritual. But what you could do, and what I would suggest to store it, is getting one of these small little containers. I bought this at Michael's. The other, I can't put the back the way that I want to. The other suggestion that I would make is these jars are spice jars. They are sold at IKEA. So if you have one of those near you, you can buy like a 4-pack, I think, for like a couple dollars. So we're gonna set some of this stuff aside and we're gonna talk about burning it quick. I'm not gonna light it right now, just because I will be lighting it on summer solstice. I can kind of walk you guys through the best lighting tips that I can give for you. First things first is you want a fireproof dish, and then you can use a cauldron. You can also use a big like metal mixing bowl. That's another option. And then you will need some charcoal discs. That's what these are. And I take tongs, like cooking tongs, and I will hold them with that. I'll pinch them in between the cooking tongs, and then I will light it with a lighter. And it takes a little bit. It'll spark, kind of crackle and spark, but you'll notice because it will kind of start to glow at the bottom. And then you just place it in the dish, like so, with the tongs, of course, so you don't burn yourself. And then the other trick that I was told recently by Brittany of Palm Tree Bewitchery is you can take some oil and place it on top of your charcoal disc and then place the herbs on top of that. This is not a trick I have used yet. So I totally plan on doing that with these charcoal discs, with this incense and summer solstice. But yeah, and then you basically just want to stay close to it and make sure that it's burning okay and that you're practicing fire safety. But that is what I wanted to share with making my summer solstice incense. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and as always, blessed be.